certain concerns and worries. The main worry, I was worried about the fact that we'd always be viewed as a traditional business and therefore less interesting to investors. Pre-Accelerator, the issue I just mentioned, us being viewed as a traditional business, seemed like a significant barrier. Post-Accelerator, I felt the Accelerator had enabled us to remove these bottlenecks and barriers to funding success. We knew raising investment would require hard work. In fact, people had told me it was almost like a full-time job in itself. But before the Accelerator, we didn't know where to start. We knew the structure of the Accelerator would guide us through the process and take the most efficient path. It's helped us define the narrative for the company, the background story right through to how we pitch that to investors to make a compelling story that was then interlinked with our problem and solution. And what we found is the problem solution slides of our deck, if we even tweaked one word of those, it would change the rest of the deck entirely. The two were so interlinked, the problem and everything that came after it. So getting the narrative right from the start was imperative to making sure that the amount of work we did wasn't just being done twice every time we made a tweak, getting it right from the start. Once that was clear, the process of developing a powerful pitch deck, which was coherent from beginning to end, became really, really simple. The main benefit for me was knowing what we would do differently as a result of the Accelerator. For instance, the Accelerator showed us how we can demonstrate the value, the strength, the growth potential of the company quickly, concisely, and most importantly, simply. Understanding that our virtual and physical services, because of COVID we developed a new virtual service, that those two, the original physical service and the new virtual service, weren't mutually exclusive, but instead two solutions to the same problem, one de-risking the other and combining to give us an offering that differentiated us against all of the competition. I feel I have a clear plan and that I know that I can clearly deliver a pitch, answer all of the questions, and most importantly, defend everything that we've pitched, from our financial projections through to our valuation. First of all, she is a fountain of knowledge, and she is able to break things down so simply for anyone to understand. No matter what the background of your business, which sector you're in, she's really great at articulating how you should do things in the best possible way. And more than just a fountain of knowledge, she's a great friend and a mutual supporter of your business, which I think is the most valuable thing.